Hello, it's Clemmy from the NARM Clinic. I want to talk a bit more to you today about how you can help to manage your inflammatory bowel disease. So following on from my last videos, today I want to talk about our internal ecosystem and our microbiome, which I know is a buzzword at the moment. And I also want to touch on probiotics as well, which is something I always get asked about. So it's understood that genetics and environment are two factors that play an important part in causing inflammatory bowel disease. Another component is a disordered immune response. So that's where our body attacks its own cells, and that's called autoimmunity. And lastly, we think it's changes in the bacteria in our intestine that are likely to play a part as well. So did you know that our gut is full of trillions and trillions of microbes? So these are bacteria, fungi and yeast, and these help to keep us healthy. So I'm particularly fascinated by this bacteria that live in our digestive tract and how that might be involved in inflammatory bowel disease. We're understanding more and more about the role that our microbes play in our health and in disease. And as a causing factor of IBD. It's really important that we address our microbes and our gut health, and to support this when we're looking at the long-term management of Crohn's and colitis. So we know that we have the ability, through the food that we eat and also our lifestyle, so the way that we live, to both positively and negatively impact our microbiome and our gut health, which may play a really important part in our IBD journey. So most people think that bacteria are all bad, but everyone also has beneficial bacteria which are found in our gut, on our skin, and in a number of other places in our body, and they actually help to keep us healthy. So together, all these bacteria, fungi, yeast, etc. Make up our microbiome, and this is the grand total of the bacteria living in and on us. So researchers are looking more deeply into the microbiome and how it might be involved in inflammatory bowel disease. And at the moment, they think that if you have IBD, your body might be reacting badly to some of the bacteria in the gut and causing it to become sore and inflamed. So to dive a bit more deeply into that, so normally our body has a defense mechanism to protect us from harmful bacteria, viruses, and other foreign substances. And that is called our immune system, and that's a complex combination of different cells and proteins circulating around, helping to protect our body. So when foreign and non-beneficial bacteria enter our body through the gut or by other means, the cells of the immune system, along with helper proteins, they come along to the bacteria and they destroy it and help to protect our body from being taken over and being infected. So some bacteria are helpful, as I've said, particularly for our digestion and for helping to keep our gut healthy. So normally the immune system would leave these beneficial bacteria alone and recognise them as friend rather than foe. However, in inflammatory bowel disease, the immune system sometimes gets confused and often mistakes these helpful bacteria and other substances in the gut as hostile and sends special fighter cells to kill them, and also mounts an immune response, and that can damage the tissue that lines the gut, and that can result in inflammation, in ulceration and in soreness. So we really need to work on supporting your gut health, supporting your microbiome and your immune system as well. We also do have the ability, if we need to, if we think it's appropriate, to look a little more closely at what's going on with the bacteria in your intestines, if we feel that we need to. So research suggests that if there's not enough of the normal bacteria that we would expect to be in our intestines, that there may be more space for more disruptive bacteria or pathogens or parasites to come and take up residence in the intestines. So I like to use the analogy of a car park here. So our intestines, if our intestines have a diverse range of different microbes and bacteria in there, then there is less space for less beneficial bacteria or foreign bacteria to come in and park. So like if you have a car park that's full of cars, there's not many spaces for other new cars to go in and park there. However, on the other hand, if you have a car park that's empty and there are many more free spaces for cars to come and park in, it's similar in the intestines where there are too few bacteria. It makes it easier for unwanted microbes or pathogens to come in and to take up residence, and then these might potentially start causing problems. So that's why it's sometimes beneficial for us to take a closer look at what might be going on in your intestines and whether there are any unwanted residents in there that might possibly be preventing you from getting better. So we can't talk about the microbiome and bacteria without touching on probiotics, and probiotics is something I get asked about by most of my clients and also in the companies that I go in and give talks in. And you've probably been told along the way to just take a probiotic. But what is important that we understand is that probiotics are all different and they don't always make a difference to you, and it really depends on what condition you have in inflammatory bowel disease. Also, we have to be aware that the probiotics are very strain specific. So they've been specific strains have been researched to help specific conditions. Now, in this vein, probiotics can be likened to breeds of dogs. So all dogs come from the same species, but different breeds of dogs vary in shape, in size, in strength, and in also what they can do in terms of jobs. So the same way that we use different breeds of dogs for different jobs, we use different strains of bacteria for different medical conditions and goals. So what we need to make sure is that we're using the right strain of bacteria that's right for inflammatory bowel disease and for the condition that you're suffering with. So, for example, you wouldn't use a Chihuahua for crowd control, you'd need a German Shepherd. So it's really important that we're looking at the different specific strain and how that helps the specific condition. Also, it's important to note that probiotics aren't always helpful in inflammatory bowel disease, and it definitely depends on the type of IBD you have and the location of the inflammation. And another important point is care really needs to be taken if you're on medications like immunosuppressants, or if your immune system is particularly compromised, then actually introducing bacteria may not be beneficial and may be harmful and could be dangerous. So we really need to be cautious and make sure that we are giving you the right probiotics and looking at where you are in terms of flare-ups, etc. So another misconception is that probiotics somehow reseed or repopulate our intestines, but actually that more often than not is not true. They do their specific job as they pass through, so we call it they're transient, but then they're excreted by the body, so they don't actually take up residence. And for this reason, it's actually probably more important that we focus on what we can do to support the bacteria and the growth of bacteria that's in your intestines already. And we can do that through the food that we're eating. So it may be that a probiotic is appropriate for you, but we also need to come from the other angle. So we need to look at how we're supporting what's there already. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions at all, then please do get in touch. If you'd like to chat, then please do book a call with me through my website, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks.